I wanted to share with you the really beautiful message I received this morning when I was doing my meditation. And hey, if it resonates with you, take it. If it doesn't, that's cool. I appreciate you for showing up here anyway. Um, in my meditation, the word decision came up. And I've been thinking about decisions for the last 3 days. And what I've been asking is, do everyone has or have a decision making process? Because I know some companies or corporations have an internal decision making process, but I wonder if us as individuals, as humans, if we had a decision making process outside of our internal compass or our intuition. And I immediately thought about and saw the movie Look Both Ways on Netflix. This movie is so important for everyone to watch. In this movie, it shows a girl that goes to college and she goes to a party and she gets a little inebriated and she makes a decision. The decision is she have fornication with this guy, and as such she gets pregnant. The decision she has to make is, do she keep the baby or do she stay in college, right? Do she keep the baby, live that life, or does she stay in college pursuing her dream as a designer? So the movie show you both lives the entire time. And I thought that was so wonderful because there are so many stories on here that show and talk about people who've experienced different timelines. I've even explained to you all that I've experienced different timelines as well too. And so what I kept on hearing is decisions is the math that create your free will. Now, I'm not here to discuss or argue or have any philosophical conversation around free will. This is just what I heard, so I want to share. And I'm like, okay. And when you think about it, when I thought about it, I'm like, oh, it makes sense because it's a mathological world. I do mean mathological world, math and technology. This world is a simulation, so it's based on specific codes. Codes is just numbers, but it's also many other things as well too. And so I'm like, okay, I never thought about a decision being a mathematical equation that creates your free will. Your free will is a decision that you make. Whatever decision you make is lived. Your yes or no is lived whether you experience it or not. You understand? So if you say yes to something, you're going to live that experience. If you say no to something, that experience is still created. So decisions have gravity because they are anchors into specific timelines. You understand? And so the more I'm having this conversation, the more I'm understanding how we don't take decision making seriously enough. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we need to, as an individual person, being in spirit, create our own decision making matrix. Because when you think about decisions from this level, from this mathematical ideology that creates free will, that also creates timelines that are lived and unlived, you understand? Then but still express, then it makes you want to get a little bit clearer about the decisions that you're making. And so let's talk a little bit about like how we should start to make decisions. At least this is the way I see it. This is how I've been making some of my decisions. And if this helps you, then by all means, implement it within your life. So the first thing I think about with decision making, because now I understand that it does create timelines that anchor you in based on your emotional pool, right? So if your yes has so much emotion and so much passion, it's the reality you want to experience, and that's the one you're going to experience. If your no has that same level of velocity in terms of emotional energy, that's the one you're going to experience. So it is our emotions that pull us into these landscapes. And so when you're thinking about making a decision, the first thing when someone presents you with an offer, the first thing you need to do is pause, because we don't breathe enough. We need to breathe. Pause so that you can have a moment of comprehension. A lot of us don't really understand what we're being asked to do because sometimes it's labor intensive and you don't recognize that before you say yes. And so we need to take a moment to pause. We're going to pause to comprehend on what the ask is, okay? And if this is uncomfortable for the person asking you, just say, hey, give me a moment to pause and think about this. The next thing you're going to do is ask, is there a time frame? Because the way you maintain your power is by never let anybody rush you or force you into a decision. And so you're going to ask, what is the time frame on this decision? If it's an important decision, then usually people give you 24 hours. That's kind of standard. Never let anybody rush you into making a decision. I don't care what situation or circumstance it actually is. After that, you want to perhaps ask some follow-up questions for clarity, right? Even though you're in your comprehension stage, you want to ask some follow-up questions for clarity. Okay? Once you have your questions, you need to then ask, is there a physical contract? Because if there is a physical contract, you need to review it within that 24-hour time span to see if it's in energetic resonance with you, if you are in absolute alignment and agreement with the language that's being presented to you. You understand, before you sign on a dotted line. If there isn't a physical contract, that's fine too, because there's verbal yes and no's. So you can still work with that as well too. You're going to walk away from that conversation, okay? In your own time, you're going to release the day. You need to go home and release the day. Release all this stuff off of you, especially if it's an important decision that may potentially affect thousands of lives, right? Like let's say if you're at that higher level of decision making. You want to go home, release the day off you. You know, you want to just get the stank off you. Get all the anxiety and the worry off. You understand? Get that thing off you. And then you want to really sit with yourself, because the greatest decision-making mechanism and tool you have is your internal compass, is your internal world. But there's certain ways you need to engage that when you're making important decisions. Let's walk through it. The first thing is, what I want you to do is something that I do, and I don't believe in people can't do it. I think if you try, it'll work for you. But hey, let's just use our imagination. Why not? So the first thing I do is I sit down and I recite the question, or what's being asked of me, right? And I just close my eyes and I ask myself, the universe, spirit, whatever you believe in, show me the timeline of the yes. And just just show it. Even to get even deeper, ask, when I say yes to this decision, what is the sensations, the emotions, and the feelings that come up? What is the taste? What does it taste like? What does the yes sounds like? What does the yes feels like? Ooh, what is the taste? Invoke all of the senses. I don't know why I'm going blank right now. They do the same thing with the no. What does the no taste like? What does the no sound like? And just get in tune with your body to see what these different sensations are, because your body is an electrical system. It's going to send you the correct signals based on what you should be saying yes and what you should be saying no to, right? This is going to be a practice. That's one way of doing it. This is how you kind of analyze timelines. You're just going to analyze it through emotions, thoughts, and energies. And you're going to get, trust and believe me, you're going to get two very separate energies, two very separate sensations. It's going to be up to you whether you trust it or not. Do you understand? So that's one way you're going to go through this decision-making process once you're alone, once you're at home. You need to understand what this is. The second thing you need to do is, after you have had those experiences and you have your yes or your no, and maybe that's not enough for you, is, what is the contract? Is it a physical contract? Go read the physical contract and read it. And how does it make you feel? Is it in violation of your ethics, your rights, and your values? If it's a yes, sign. If it's a no, don't sign it. But if it's in alignment with you and you feel it in your internal world, right? Like within your intuition, as they say, go ahead and sign it, especially if you've done the timeline work and you're like, oh, this yes is very solid. And this contract lined up. Like, let me sign this. You understand? If there isn't a physical contract, then you need to pull it from the spirit. You need to pull it from the universe itself, because everything creates energy. So if the energy is all around us, then you have access to it, especially if this decision or this act was given to you. So you'll sit down with yourself and you'll say to yourself, what is the contract? AKA, what is the energy I'm being asked to contain or co-create with? And you'll see it. Let your mind show you what it looks like. If it's something beautiful and wonderful that you resonate with, you like, oh, that's T, I like that. That's a beautiful sign. If it's almost a nightmare or something your body don't react to well at all, then you know that's a sign to say, no, actually, this is not in alignment with me. This is the new way we need to start making decisions if you don't make them that way at all. So this is kind of how I do it, is using my imagination, but also trusting my switchboard, right? My nervous system, trusting my intuition, but also trusting what the universe has to offer me. We have to start looking at other data points outside of just using our mind to say yes and no. There's so much more information out here that we can use to make very informed, soul-led decisions that can potentially save you from walking the timeline your ass don't want to be a part of. So I love you. Peace.